Balmoral Castle, nestling in the shadow of the Canaan, was where Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II peacefully passed away on an early autumn afternoon in September 2022. The last spoken words of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II are not officially recorded, but it is reported that her last words to the then Prime Minister, Liz Truss, were, "I'll see you next week." Some reports suggest that her last words to those directly around her were a simple expression of love, when she peacefully and quietly whispered, "All my love." These last words, reflected so quietly, with dignity, and yet so eloquently, Her late Majesty's lifelong commitment to duty and service. Last words. Well, I don't want to share with you the last words of a great monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, from the Cairngorms. But I do want to unpack with you this week the last words of a great leader from Canaan. The last words of Joshua to the nation that was Israel. The last words of Joshua, of which we read in Joshua chapter 23, the focus for our reflections this week under our theme of last words. By way of introduction, by way of setting the scene, Joshua is old. He's well advanced in years. He's nearing death. And he gathers together the leadership of Israel to give to them his final crucial instructions, to express his last words. His message is a blend of encouragement, reflection, and warning, aimed at ensuring that the next generation remains faithful to God. Joshua is old. Joshua is preparing to die. But before he leaves them, he's something to tell them about serving the Lord. And he calls to meetings, the first of which we read of in chapter 23, which is held with the elders and the leaders of the people, and the second recorded in chapter 24, which we'll look at in our reflections next week, which involves all of Israel. And as Joshua, this great old leader, once the understudy of Moses, having been mentored by Moses, this leader is now old himself. And as this faithful old leader, this old warrior, prepares to break camp, he knows the old guard, that is, those who knew Moses and Joshua, are swiftly dying off. They're becoming a rare breed. He knows that a new generation is coming. A new generation that's coming that did not see all the miracles and all the wonders of God in their midst. A new generation, as it were, yet to be born. And so before he dies, he wants to remind them in his last words of the God they serve. And so let's listen in carefully. Let's hear what Joshua says to the elders and to the leaders. And for our opening reflection today, we want to consider the fact that contemplation matters. Contemplation matters. Joshua 23, verse 1. A long time afterward, after all the land had been allocated, the inheritance had been given, the battles had been fought and won, a long time afterward, when the Lord had given rest to Israel from all their surrounding enemies, and Joshua was old and well advanced in years, Joshua summoned all Israel, its elders and heads, its judges and officers, and said to them, I am now old and well advanced in years. And you have seen all that the Lord your God has done to all these nations for your sake. For it is the Lord your God who has fought for you. Joshua wants the leaders to contemplate, to remember, to contemplate on the fact that the Lord has fought for them, resulting in the conquest and possession of the land. He wants to encourage them to contemplate on the fact that God has kept every promise, has given them victory when none could stand against him. Let me invite your consideration of the question, does contemplation matter to you? When looking back at all that God has done in our lives, do we purposely contemplate on all that God has done for us, his faithfulness and his blessings? We do well to take time to remember, to contemplate. Contemplation matters. And so as Joshua contemplates the past and considers the future for the nation of Israel, he sees some things beginning to happen in the lives of the people of Israel. In fact, the things he sees are things he does not like. And therefore, like any good, wise, seasoned leader, Joshua feels duty bound to point out these things to the people before he departs and before he dies. Joshua had the same duty that preachers and teachers of God's word and pastors of churches have in our day. That when error is seen in the lives of people, be it doctrinal or otherwise, they have a duty before God to tell people about those errors. Why? Because those people are loved, and those people need to hear God's plan and purpose and what is best for their lives. Contemplation matters. Join me tomorrow in Teaching Truth as we journey with Joshua through Joshua 23, as we listen in to his last words and reflect on the fact that complacency matters.